With us now to continue our conversation is Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi. He is ranking member of the House Select Committee on Strategic Competition between the U.S. and the Chinese Communist Party. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time.
Thank you,
what are your biggest takeaways from last night's hearing?
A couple things. One is I thought the witnesses were extremely articulate and presented different facets of the challenges that the CCP poses, whether it's with regard to human rights abuses, whether it's with regard to the economic situation, or with regard to our national security. And then the other big takeaway is that I think members on both sides, there are about 24 of them, asked some very intelligent and tough questions about a very serious subject, and largely kept partisanship out of the mix, which is really important to me.
Yeah, Congressman, I know you've spoken out about the threats posed by TikTok. A short time ago, the House Foreign Affairs Committee advanced a bill that would give the president the authority to ban the app. Well, what do you make of that measure?
You know, I haven't read in detail that particular measure. Chairman Gallagher and I have a separate bill. I think it's the only bipartisan bill on this particular issue, which basically makes sure that any user data or algorithms on a social media app are not controlled by an adversarial regime such as the Chinese Communist Party. In this particular case of TikTok, it's owned by a company called ByteDance, and ByteDance is beholden to the Chinese Communist Party in those two respects. And so, you know, when I talk to my constituents, they're already concerned about big tech, but it's a bridge too far when you talk about their children or even their own user data or their content being ultimately controlled by the CCP.
Congressman, last year I spoke with the head of U.S. Southern Command, who told me that China has invested more than $50 million in Latin America just in the last couple of years, much of it on infrastructure, ports, telecommunications. What do you think China is doing in Latin America, and should the United States be looking at that more closely?
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be a big topic of discussion even within our committee. They have something called the Belt and Road Initiative, Jose, and this BRI initiative that the Chinese Communist Party has initiated is an effort to provide developmental help for a lot of countries that are struggling around the world and building infrastructure. The problem is, they're often offered on economic terms that are very, very detrimental to the people of that country, although they might be very sweet in terms of incentives and payoffs for the leadership in that country. And then the second thing is it's cultivating soft power around the world in a way that kind of moves countries away from the United States toward the orbit of the PRC. So we should have an alternative, and that's something that I think we're going to be talking about within this committee.
Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for being with us this morning.